Hi friends, welcome back. I had a great question from Bruce and Monica Krause, I believe is the last name, or Cruz, C-R-O-U-S-E. Said they're older players, or he or she is an older player, and got the basic chords down, but looking to learn how to flat pick and add runs, and what's the best way to do that. So if you watch any amount of, the Nashville session players on YouTube, they will constantly be citing the caged method or the secret, which is based on the C, A, G, E, and D chord shapes and moving those. So here's my G, and I didn't get this when I was first learning the guitar. People would say I just play off of chords. So you've got, these are all G chords. This is a G, that's a G. This is a G, this is a G, this is a G here, and this is a G here. So the C, A, G, E, and D shapes, it always loops that order. So if you're starting with a G shape, your next one is the E shape, next one is the D shape, I normally play it that way, the next one is the C shape, and then the A shape, and then you're back to the G shape. So runs, if we're talking about bluegrass, I asked him the question, I didn't hear an answer back, so whether he was talking about bluegrass. So typically that would be called a G run in bluegrass. I'm not really a bluegrass player. Those who are bluegrass players are very, very accomplished at this style. I know a little bit about it, and I know about music, so I'm going to show you a little bit about what I know. But anyways, we want to learn how to move something like that run and play it off of the different G shapes. Here's my D, or I could do it this way. And here's the C shape. And here's the A shape. And then up into the G shape. So that's just that same run over and over again. And there's also things like connecting chords with bass notes. So this right here is taken from this E-shaped G chord, but I know these three strings open also make a G chord, and if I take any of my G chords up here, I can play any of those strings open and it'll sound nice. So this is 5 open 3 3, that's a G chord. Or I could even do 5 open open 3, that's still a G chord. Or even open 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 3, that's a G chord. So then there's this idea of moving. So I'm just hammering from an F sharp to a G note on the D string. All of my other notes that I'm decorating with come out of the G major scale or the G minor, or the G major blues scale. So then if you learn that G major blues scale in all the different places, which is the same notes as, essentially it's a G major pentatonic scale, adding the flat 5, the flat 5 of the E minor pentatonic, so it's it's a flat 3 of the G major scale. So that's the scale that I use most of the time, or the G major scale. And then you can learn the G major scale in the different places, like that stuff. So it's putting all that stuff together, right? So knowing where your G, C, and D chords are there, that's the 1, 4, and 5. G, C, and D here. Here would be a G, and then a C, and then a D. And here's a G, C, and D. And then a G, C, and D. And then you're back to G, C, and D up here. And then you're also learning how to connect those lines, those runs. So I know I covered a lot of stuff there. If you're already pretty accomplished at the guitar, then you'll probably pick that stuff up pretty quickly. If not, then you may need to pause the video and slow things down a little bit, which is a nice feature that YouTube has. But yeah, I would start with a few chords and then start with scale tones that connect between those chords. And realize any key that we're playing in, you can actually play any note, you know. So if I take my G chord here, I can actually change and I can color that chord with other notes from the G scale. And I can use chromatic notes. So knowing your chords and scales and knowing how to play every chord in at least 5 places, and the quickest and easiest way to do that is to essentially move the C, A, G, E, and D chord shapes, which always loop that order. So if I start with a C here, my next C uses the A shape. And it's like you take a capo, put it on the 3rd fret, and play that, an A chord, however you play it, and that gives you a C chord. And then if I take a capo and put it on the 5th fret, that's still a C chord, but using the G shape. And then if I take it and put it on the 8th fret, play an E chord, that's still a C chord, but using the E shape. And if I take it and put it on the 10th fret, that's a C using a D shape. And then the 12th fret, see if this even works up here. Use a C shape. So those are all C chords, the 3 notes C, E, and G. However, without the capo, then we have to typically bar where that capo was. So most people learn this A-shaped C chord this way. By the way, it has the same root note as my regular campfire C chord. String 5 fret 3 is my C note. So here is that same root note. And then here's a C using the G shape in 5th position. Now, this is really it. It's, if I build it from string 6, 8, 7, 5, 5, 5, 8. But most people don't play it that way. Most people play it this way. Or the lowest strings, or the highest strings. They're all still a C chord, as long as you have the 3 notes C, E, and G. This is a C using the E shape. That's one of the 2 bar chords most people learn early on. And then a C using a D shape, which I normally just play this way. And then I'm back to the C shape here. And then you'll learn the scale with each of those. That's the major scale. Here's, that would be the run that we did on G. We could also do it on G here. And on D here. So if I was playing a bluegrass thing in G, I did it on C too. So learning how to do that run off of each chord. Here I could also do it in a closed position. So off a G, off of a C, off of a D, back to G, or an octave up. So really it's just kind of learning the math of where those things are and how to move them. And that is the best way to start practicing, like being able to play everywhere on the fretboard. I hope that helps. Thank you for the question. Email questions to asktheguitarteacher@gmail.com, and I would be happy to answer more of your questions. All right, you guys have a great day. Thanks.